Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And we expect both Senator Warren, who is going to lead this off, but she's a little delayed, and Senator Booker in a little while. But thank you all for being here today. Many of you are. We thank the healthcare providers for joining us. It's so important because these folks know better than anybody else about what skyrocketing health care costs mean to millions of Americans. Let's put it succinctly. Because of these vicious, drastic cutbacks, millions will lose their health care altogether. Tens of millions will pay thousands and tens of thousands more for health care. And 51,000 people will die in the next year because they won't have health care. Donald Trump and his Republicans, who want to use this money, use the money from health care, which Americans have always prized and treasured, to pay for tax cuts for billionaires. That's why they're so adamant. The billionaires have a stranglehold over the Trump administration and over the Republicans in the Senate and the House. These are not just numbers on a chart. I don't know if we have, no, we don't have a chart here. But these are not just numbers on any chart. They're real. This Friday, as window shopping occurs, window shopping starts today, tens of millions of American families are going to gather around the kitchen table and say, what are we going to do? We can't afford an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a year. But we can't go without health care. What if our kid or our partner gets sick and there's no doctor? Or what if we have to cut back so badly on our health care that we have to go to a doctor 100 miles away or a hospital 200 miles away? What are we going to do? This is not just an ordinary conversation people will have. This is just frightening, devastating. It's like you'll walk around with, if people who experience this will walk around with a hole in the pit of their stomachs and say, what are we going to do? And today, we're only 3 days from open enrollment, as you know. Window shopping starts today. People are, for the first time, logging in to see what they're going to pay. And it's going to be devastating. Let me just give you a few little examples. We have them for every... Monica, we have numbers for everybody on the states?
We've got 31 states today.
Okay, we'll get you that information. In Florida, a 55-year-old couple making $80,000 a year could be looking at a nearly $4,000 a month health care bill, a $50,000 increase. You're making $80,000 a year. It doesn't mean you're poor. But how are you going to pay $50,000? It's half their salary. I've been hearing from New Yorkers from one end of my state to the other. We obviously have a big urban population with many poor people. We have a large rural population. We have the third largest rural population in America. But from one end of the state to the other, we're hearing how frightened people are, how angry people are, how devastated people are about what is happening. In upstate New York, the average family who used to pay $280 a month is now about to pay $1,700 a month. That's a 500% hike. Corey walked in, but I was going to steal his thunder, but he'll talk about it. Healthcare costs in Jersey are up 175%. And this is true in red states and blue states. In fact, it's even worse in red states because they've been so negligent and so cheap about providing Medicaid to people. And let me just say this. America was regarded as almost a third world country when it came to health care in the 1960s because we didn't have Medicare or Medicaid or ACA. And through a lot of hard work and a lot of public pressure, we achieved Medicare and Medicaid, and then we had ACA. But from the very beginning, the Republican Party has tried to tear all of this down. Most recently, in 2017, when I worked with John McCain, and he did his thumbs down, and their desire to repeal ACA failed by a vote. But they're still at it. And that's what they did in their big, ugly betrayal bill. So the costs are outrageous. Americans are going to be finding this out starting today and over again on Saturday. And Republicans are trying the same failed play that they tried before. Get rid of health care for American people. You're on your own. If you can't afford health care, it's your fault. That's the Republican attitude. It's just horrible. And the American people hate it. 55% of Trump voters want the ACA tax credits extended. 55% of Trump voters and about 90% of all Americans. So what's Trump doing? He's busy building his ballroom, dancing in Malaysia, sending $40 billion to Argentina, $300 million for his ballroom, $170 million in luxury jets for Kristi Noem. They have money for that and not for health care? It's a disgrace. And the American people know it. We're here. We're not like the House Republicans who went away on a long vacation. House Republicans are being paid and not working, and federal workers are working and not being paid. It's a disgrace. But we're here. We're ready. Hakeem Jeffries and I are willing to sit down and negotiate a way out of this crisis with the Republican leadership. And the Republicans just keep saying later. To quote Martin Luther King Jr. in his letter in the Birmingham jail, when the Republicans say later, they mean never. And that's why we are pushing now to get this done. Republicans, Speaker Johnson, Trump, you got to get serious. They're not serious, but we're going to keep holding their feet to the fire because the American people are who we care about. The American people are who we're doing this for. That couple that I mentioned sitting at a table on a Friday night who have a hole in the pit of their stomach because they think they're going to lose all their health care, that's who we're fighting for. And we're not going to rest until we succeed.